Hey Runners World, Mallory Creveling here, your health and fitness editor. We are here today to talk about alcohol and athletic performance, a hot topic, something that can be a little bit confusing. So Dr. Tamanna Singh, she's here on screen with me via Zoom. Dr. Singh is here to clear up that confusion for us. Thanks so much for being with us today. So to talk a little bit more focusing on alcohol and training and racing and the effects that it can have. For someone who does have a big race coming up, how long before that race would you suggest they cut out alcohol totally?
With respect to there being any specific time where you should not drink alcohol before a race, there's really no hard cutoff. If you're doing a 12 to 16 week training cycle for a marathon, I typically would say maybe lay off the alcohol during perhaps maybe weeks 6 to 9, 9 to 12, perhaps 3 to 4 weeks before your taper when you're really hitting those 18 to 20 miler days. Just because, again, you want to focus on adequate hydration, adequate performance, getting good sleep, getting good heart rate recovery and heart rate variability. Usually people have a taper period of 2 to 3 weeks. During that time, again, you really want to have a good reset for your body, really focus on muscle repair, muscle synthesis, muscle recovery. Alcohol impacts a lot of that. So there are a lot of people out there who, again, will not drink during that time. We also have a lot of athletes who just don't drink at all or just don't drink through the entire training cycle. With respect to a couple of days before your race, I typically will say those are the key periods of time where you really want to focus on getting all the adequate carbohydrates your body needs, the adequate hydration and electrolytes. You essentially want to prime your body to hit that start line strong. And if you really want to have a beer during that period of time, save it for the finish line, and that can be one of your goals.
Can you talk a little bit about how we metabolize alcohol?
Sure. So alcohol is metabolized by the liver, and the liver essentially is the organ that is responsible for getting rid of all of the body's toxins. So when you're drinking, what happens is the liver wants to clear all of that alcohol first. But the problem is when you're exercising or when you're performing at a race, you really need to release some glucose for energy. You need to have other energy stores available for you to be able to, again, hit those paces. So if you have alcohol in your system, your liver is going to prioritize breaking down that alcohol and not providing glucose and sugars, carbohydrates for you to utilize for energy.
That's interesting. Yeah, I feel like that really, people focus on getting that glucose in, and obviously alcohol is something that stops that. And then can you talk a little bit, you mentioned this earlier, but how alcohol affects sleep?
Yeah, so alcohol really does impact sleep in a considerable number of ways. So a lot of things happen in sleep. And I think more recently, we're really putting an emphasis on adequate recovery and sleep for a lot of our athletes, recreational or competitive and whatnot. So with respect to sleep, alcohol actually impairs the ability for the body's muscles to repair, to synthesize, to recover. It actually inhibits growth hormone, which is responsible for all of that muscle recovery. Alcohol also does elevate your heart rate, and HRV, or heart rate variability, is a marker of cardiovascular fitness. So we typically say the higher the number, the more fit or the better from a cardiovascular standpoint you are. So, alcohol really doesn't mix well with sleep. And a lot of people do then develop some insomnia, develop poor sleep. And we really need to get adequate sleep and recovery in order to make sure that we can perform the next day.
Great. As Dr. Singh mentioned, alcohol doesn't necessarily have a place on the training plan, especially if you're looking to promote your fitness and reach that finish line a little bit faster, a little bit stronger. But we are eager to hear about your experience with alcohol and how you feel about your relationship with alcohol. So let us know about you and your experience with alcohol and whether it's helped or hurt your performance.